Well, hello, everybody. It's Charles Kemp, and welcome to my home. You've been here several times before, and I'm sorry I haven't been hospitable and offered you a Mountain Dew or Pepsi or Coke. Haven't really thought about that. I'm sorry. But maybe you can go buy McDonald's on your way after we watch this video. I enjoy bringing these videos to you. They're not real long. I try not to make them long, but they're informative. And I want you to know, as a candidate for re-election to the office of mayor, how I feel very strongly about certain things. Last week, of course, we talked about the young people and the youth, and there'll be more on that before November. But now I want to talk about, as Helen Reddy says, downtown. I'm sure you already know, unless you were just born yesterday, that Fairmont is a very old town. Born in 1907, not the town itself, but the name Fairmont. 1907, Mayor Frank Blue, who was a banker at the time, and lived in the house on the corner of Trinity and Church Street, where Lou Lewis lives now, and the former mayor, Jeff Lewis. He instructed his clerk to adopt through the legislature the name Fairmont because a town in Davidson County had dropped the name, had chosen not to use the name anymore. Not forgotten. They just decided they didn't want to use the name. I don't know why, but we adopted that name. Then later they got kind of upset about that, but it was too late then. So that's where Fairmont comes from. Before Fairmont, there was Union City and then Ashpole, based upon the ash trees in Ashpole Swamp. And Union City, I guess maybe they were trying to bring together both forces after a brutal civil war fought years earlier. What saved Fairmont at the very beginning, was agriculture. We are blessed to be in the agricultural belt of the South, where there's good crop rotation, there's good soil, and long growing season, and plenty of rainfall. So tobacco, thanks to the Duke family and the R.J. Reynolds family, tobacco and textiles caught on real big. And in addition to that, a lumber company from Whaleyville, Virginia, uh, came into Fairmont and located in about where the Rosenwald School is now, Rosenwald Elementary, and was here for years. In fact, many of the homes up there were mill houses built for the employees that worked there. So Fairmont moved forward with tobacco and textiles, cotton, and then in 1937 they hired Charlie Stafford, the young uh, agricultural rich uh, farming expert from Clarksville, Tennessee, to come into Fairmont and enlarge our output. And he did. Believe me, he did. In fact, Charlie Stafford, still today, even 50 years after his death, 40 or 50 years after his death, is still a legend in this town. And I don't want to get into all of that. I want to stick with downtown. But what happened was, because of tobacco, Mr. Stafford, because of cotton and Mr. Mitchell, the Mitchell family, and because of the lumber, Fairmont's businesses began to be erected and grow. Just a brief moment of history. Our Heritage Center that we use so often was built in 1903 by a man named W. W. Willis out of Bingham, South Carolina. And I don't know all the earlier stores that were there, but over the years, there have been many different stores leading up to 2007, after Pope's left and Super 10 left and sat vacant for about 10 years, our Heritage Center. Next door to that, the Thompson Building was built in 1912, and it served as originally our first post office, Johnson Cotton Company, and now it stands idle because it's up for lease or rent, uh, formerly being the Picnic, both indoors and outdoors. Then in 1919, on the other end of the street, Mr. C.A. Floyd built a building that is now stands empty, but at one time it was a big furniture store. And in between that, in between Carlton Floyd and the north end of Main Street, there was E.G. Floyd's Theater. There was Harry Levinson's first department store, clothing store that was moved eventually to the corner of Center Street in Maine. The bank, which has changed names many times. Fairmont grew exponentially because of tobacco and textiles. And we had a thriving, exciting downtown. A moment of personal privilege, if you don't mind. When I was 15 years old, I was riding my bicycle down Main Street. Shouldn't have been on the sidewalk, but I was, with my best friend, Bobby Smith. And a large man smoking a cigarette, which he did every day a lot, Mr. Bill Burton, was standing outside of what is now our Heritage Center. Then it was Pope's Department Store. And he stopped us and he wanted to know if we wanted a job. Well, my friend Bobby didn't want a job at that time, but I did. So I agreed to work for Mr. Bill. And I went inside and I counted every bra and every pair of ladies' unmentionables, every tube of toothpaste, every Band-Aid box, every cap gun. I happened to come along right at the time of inventory, and I didn't have enough sense to know that. That's why Mr. Bill hired me. But he kept me on, and eventually I rose to the rank of store detective for the toy department, which is, if you've ever been in our Heritage Center, it's right about where that ramp is that takes you up to the stage. And that was a great feeling for me. But then later, because of my Aunt Aura's relationship as a customer to Mr. Bill Mitchell, I was hired by Mr. Bill to be a bag boy. That's the simplest way to say it, in Bill Mitchell's grocery store, which was further down the street on the same side. Now, I know for a fact that Fairmont's downtown was huge in the 1960s, mid 60s, because I carried groceries to many a lady's car out the door. No plastic bags, paper bags. That's what we had then. And you either had to walk against the edge of the buildings to get by the crowds of people, or walk out between the cars parked on the street and walk around the driver's side till you got to an empty space. There was all kind of smells in downtown. There were thousands of people. On Saturdays, you couldn't walk on Main Street. Our downtown was the place to be. People buying clothes, people seeing people they hadn't seen in a while. Oh, I hadn't seen you in forever. We need to get together. Let's get together after church. That kind of thing. It was an exciting, wonderful place to be. And then NAFTA and the health concerns of the federal government killed our two biggest products. I can't give you an exact date. I don't want to even attempt to try. But I do know that NAFTA was passed in the early 90s, and it crippled textile business in Robeson County. I am told over 25,000 textile jobs were lost in this county alone. I don't know how many in Fairmont. I do know that there were many people tied to our textile mills. And in tobacco, of course, the whole process of the tobacco market with the warehouses, 21 warehouses, and all the people selling their tobacco, that ended, completely ended. And so Fairmont has been in a hole, you might say. We've been in the doldrums, kind of a trough for the last 30 years or so. And we've had to scrape and fight and claw ourselves back, and our downtown has suffered. Another reason, and then I'm going to get to the future. Enough about the dismal part, I'm going to get to the future. People like Bill Mitchell, David Levinson, and his wonderful, beautiful wife, Glory Levinson, Mr. C.A. Floyd and son, people like that, they passed away. To give you an example, every single member of the Civitans that started the Farmers Festivals in 1950 and ended in 1960, every single one of those original Civitans, they're gone. Jimmy Burns was the last person to die. Well, when you do that, normally you leave a will and you leave what you have, whether it's a brick building downtown or $1 million in the bank or a dog out by the shed. You leave that to your family, somebody in the family. Now you've got people living in New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, Florida, Burlington, North Carolina. I mean, they're all spread out, and they're having their own families now. They have their own lives. And so what happens is caretakers sell those buildings to other people. And those people are not the original people. And what we've gone through in the last 30 or 40 years is that revolving door of businesses where a person comes in, stays 6 months, and I'm not making it, and they get out. Sell it to someone else. I'm not making it, they get out. And that's where we are right now. Now, the future, and then I'll conclude and send you on your merry way. I want you to know that as mayor of Fairmont, I have a standing policy, always have, and as long as I hold the office, I always will. If you come to me or call me or see me on the street and you're a budding entrepreneur, whether I know you or not, and you say to me, will you help me get a building downtown? My first statement to them is, go downtown and find a building that you think will hold what you want to do. Tell me what the name of the building is, and you and I will go if you want me to. I'm not going to force myself on anyone. If you want me to, I'll go to the owner with you and negotiate with you for the rent. I've had that happen before. I've done that. Felt real proud when we walked out and got, I'm just going to throw a figure out, don't hold me to this, $550 instead of $725. I mean, I feel like I've done some good days' work there. Doesn't always work. Sometimes people have a figure in their mind they're not going to get rid of it. Another thing is, our wonderful town manager, Mr. Jerome Chestnut, applied for and received a $500,000 Brownsfield grant, which is the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency's program to find out what's under certain buildings down in the earth, down in the ground. Beauty shops, cleaners, gas stations, textile mills, because things might leach into the ground. And they want to know what's down there. So once they come in and do a study and find out the ground is clean under that structure, or if it's fallen, that rubble, then we can do something with it. You are going to see a change on Center Street in the next year or two, because we now have been cleared to clear some of those properties, and we can sell them or give them away. And we already have a man and his brother, the Stanleys, have already recovered all the rubble out of two buildings next to the old Levinson building, and they're going to do something with that. And there'll be other structures removed, and Center Street will come alive again, not like it did during the tobacco years. Those are just two examples. Another example is we are going to hold owners of buildings' feet to the fire about the condition and look of their buildings. They are going to have to put glass in their glass panes on the second floor. They are going to have to clean up their facade, their front, or they're going to have to be coated. Mr. Chestnut and I have talked about that. Another thing, no business can open in Fairmont now, going forward, unless the person meets with Mr. Chestnut personally and describes in detail what that person is going to do with that business. Only then can they get their water turned on at that location. That way we don't get the rug pulled out from under us. We have some wonderful ideas to help grow our downtown, but above all of that, the umbrella that's sitting there above all of that is interest in Fairmont, North Carolina. So I make a personal appeal to whoever's watching this video right now. If you live in Fairmont and you don't want to open a business, just be concerned and support us. If you do want to open a business, come on down to Town Hall and meet with Mr. Chestnut and I. We would be glad to work with you and help you any way we can. Fairmont downtown is the core of our heritage, and we want our downtown to be a wonderful place. Please come and visit Fairmont. Look around. Hopefully you'll find a place, if you're a business person, that you want to open up. We'd love to have you. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with another, I hope to you, interesting video.